We're on the road to WrestleMania. I'm going to talk about all the fallout and more injuries again. Welcome to the Wrestling Council. Welcome to the Wrestling Council. I'm your host, Coming with Bob. There's always with my good friend Hollywood Frank.
HW, baby, right there. Bam.
Yo, you can catch us here every Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, talking about all the news in wrestling. You can also follow us on social media, crawling below. You can check it out in the description. And Royal Rumble weekend is over. We did our live stream reactions. It was not a terrible Rumble, at least for the men. Wasn't the greatest. It's kind of predictable. The ending was a lot better than I thought it was going to be. Thank God. We'll talk about that. Oh, my Lord God. What's up?
Hello.
Hello.
How you doing, Johnny?
Oh, it's Amber.
Amber? Yeah. Hey, Amber.
If you know, you know.
Yeah. Yep. You what do you think about your boy? Huh?
When I said I'd rather have him coming back and getting injured every 3 months than watch anything the Bucks do, I didn't mean so literally.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. We're going to talk about all that kind of. Like I said, we're going to talk about the fallout from Royal Rumble, injuries,
the road to WrestleMania
storylines. We're going to talk about the road to WrestleMania, where they're going to go from here, and yeah, should be interesting. Before we get into that, though, we got a little segment we'd like to call the good, the bad, and the ugly. Actually, I forgot to go check in with everybody.
Yeah, you didn't check in with anybody. What's going on?
Yeah, Leg Kick was Burke. He said, "Hail the Wrestling Council. Hail Leg Kick. What's up, brother?" Malacito's Nick said, "What's up, people? What's up, Malacito?
What's up?
What's up?
What's up?
What's up?
What's up?
Hello.
What's up?
What's up?
What's up?
How you doing, buddy? Big Dad. Malacito said, "Yo, Hollywood," and then Big Daddy right by him said, hey, yo, guys.
Hey, yo.
There you go.
You missing one.
I missed one. Good miss. Oh yeah. Miss Sarah said, "Good evening, gentlemen." Good evening, Miss Sarah. Appreciate you being here. Oh man. So yeah, it was Royal Rumble over the weekend. It was interesting, but we're going to do our GBUs first. It's an odd number, so it's that guy this week. Frankie, what do you got?
It was. Thank you for everybody who joined us on Saturday, by
Yeah.
the way, too. Appreciate it.
Yeah, it was fun. It was like anytime we're doing that, it's fun. Hopefully next time we'll get some people with us. I was talking to Boogie and Tony and whatnot. They want to do a show together, so maybe we'll do that for Revolution.
Yeah, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. God, Big Daddy.
Yep.
We're going to be talking about the fallout. Talk a little bit about WWE, VKM, and go from there. The good, they got the winners right for Royal Rumble, the men's and the women's.
Man, dude, I was convinced. I was like, they're gonna screw Cody again. They're gonna try and set up Cody versus Seth.
Yeah, Bailey definitely deserved to win on the
Well,
women's side.
they still might.
They could. Bailey deserved to win on the women's side. I mean, it was nice that she finally got her. Got a push there, and will be in the women's title match against Io Shirai.
Yep. And we know that's where they're going, especially after what happened on Raw this week.
Yeah, I'm not sold on the other rumored women's match Ripley versus Liv Morgan.
Yeah.
I'd rather see Ripley versus Becky Lynch.
I'd rather see Ripley versus anybody else.
Yeah. Liv Morgan, I think you've already done that before. Just doesn't draw any interest in me. No offense. Yeah, Johnny does look like R-Truth.
Yep.
You know, that's Amber McMahon though. You know.
Yep.
That's Ron Killings for you.
Yeah. The entrant to the women's Royal Rumble.
The 24th entrance in the women's Royal Rumble. That was that and Chelsea Green getting absolutely freaking murdered.
Yeah,
that was the two best things in the women's Rumble, man.
If Santino could do it, why couldn't I do it?
Yeah. Where's all the men at?
So that was your good.
They're good, yeah. Like I said, they got the right people. So hopefully they let Cody finish the story at WrestleMania.
Please God.
And that leads to my bad. Royal Rumble, we knew that the US title and the Universal were not changing hands.
Right.
I'm just tired of this whole thing with Roman Reigns. Get it over with. Let's move on.
You know what's stupid? You have 40 people there to interfere with everybody. Why does Solo have to get involved?
Yeah.
Because it's what they've done forever. And dude, I'm telling you what, like I put the post on Twitter. Big Daddy liked it. Put a like on it. A couple other people did as well. When the freaking announcers have to address the fact that Roman doesn't wrestle except for once every 2 or 3 months.
Yeah.
And they got to make a bit, and they got to like talk shit about it. You got a problem.
Yeah.
So,
if Cody doesn't finish the story at WrestleMania and beat Roman Reigns for the title, then just keep the title on Roman Reigns. Keep the title on Roman Reigns till WrestleMania 50, and have him break San Martino's record. Because at this point, it doesn't matter. I could care less if he beats Hogan's record. I could care less if he beats Bob Backlund's record.
Yeah. I don't care. And you know what? That promo that Seth cut, he did make some really, really good points. He's put the work in. He's made that title at least relevant. It's still, we'll
secondary title.
It's still a secondary title. Cody still has to go after Roman's title because that's the one with the pedigree that leads all the way back to the WWF World Heavyweight Championship that his dad tried to win. It has to be Roman. It has to be Roman. But if you're not going to let him take it, then like you said, just let him keep it because at that point it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah. Because if you're waiting for him to pass Hogan and Backlund, this you want to make the title change on a relevant pay-per-view, which won't be till WrestleMania 41, which is a year, 15 months from now.
Yeah.
14, at that point, forget it. Like you said, leave it on him till he passes Bruno Sammartino. Then.
Yeah. And like Justin said, Cody needs to win at WrestleMania. If he doesn't win at WrestleMania, if he doesn't quote unquote finish the story at WrestleMania, then you are hamstringing. You're hamstringing Cody. You're and you're literally hamstringing Roman and reducing the effectiveness and the meaning behind your world title. And at that point, like you said, just keep it on Roman until he breaks friggin' every record, because it won't matter at that point.
And Cody will defend that title like Seth is. Cody will defend the Universal title like Seth is defending the heavyweight title. Yeah.
Which needs to be done. You need your champions on TV, for God's sake.
He'll be on the shows at least.
You went from Brock Lesnar a part-time to Roman Reigns a part-time.
Yep.
You've had a part-time champion for what, 5 years? 4 or 5 years now?
Yep. No, longer than that. Since like
Roman's had it for 3.5 years, hasn't he?
Yeah. But if you go all the way back to when Lesnar, he lost it and then got it and then lost it and got it. You're talking like almost going back all the way to like 2015. That's like 8 years. You've had a part-time champion for the majority of that time. Drew's, I think Drew's title reign was the only thing that broke that up, I think.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Just done. And my ugly, I could go multiple ways. I can go this whole McMahon issue, but my ugly is also Royal Rumble. Maxine Dupree had no business being in a women's match. Pat McAfee had no business being called for the men's.
Yeah.
Why don't you have a guy like Sol Sikoa in that match? Somebody. There's guys back there that deserve some time in the ring. Pat McAfee, dumb.
Yeah.
Maxine Dupree just looked awful.
She looked
awful.
Terrible. I mean, might have been the worst, one of the worst performances I've ever seen. And just the women's Rumble in general. So many missed spots, so many botched spots, and this moment, and where they tried to double up because they had like 3 or 4 women in the match who were supposed to be powerhouses, and they tried to double up slams and stuff like that, and it looked like dog shit. It was awful.
Yeah. And
it was like, what the freaking hell? And like I said, they at least got the right person, the winner, right?
Yeah. And Hicksville and Valhalla had her antlers on because Michael Cole said she was going to win because she had her antlers on. And she was in there for what, 10 seconds?
She wasn't not even that, man, because of freaking R-Truth.
She did a Santino spot, basically.
Yeah.
Awful, in and out. Man. Like I said, the most entertaining thing in the entire Women's Rumble was R-Truth doing this run-in, which is goofy, which is, it was funny.
Chelsea Green getting squished.
And Chelsea Green just getting freaking murdered. Just murked one time after the other. That was the most entertaining thing in the entire freaking. It was the most entertaining thing in the entire.
And seeing the stare down between Bianca and Jade Cargill was good.
The stare down between Bianca and Jade Cargill was cool. The matchup between and Jordan Grace showing up was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And what that could possibly mean going forward with maybe some kind of working deal with NXT. I mean with TNA.
And you don't need surprises. You don't need surprises every time at the Royal Rumble. I mean, Jordan Grace there, returning Naomi, who was in there for a long time.
He was in there for a long time.
Andrade coming back. I mean, we knew he was coming back, but it was great to see him there.
Yep.
Braun Breaker, who was rumored to have filled a spot for Brock Lesnar, because Lesnar might never wrestle again for WWE.
Yeah, it'll be, and like I said, never say never, but it'll be at least, it's going to be a while. It's going to be a while before he shows up again.
TKO might not want him back ever, though. I mean, he was a UFC fighter, but if he's implicated in this thing, they're not going to take him back.
Yeah,
they're not going to want him in a wrestling ring.
Nope.
And have set a bad precedent for that company. No way.
Oh yeah. Oh no. What's his name? Ariel. I can't remember the guy's name. The guy that runs TKO.
Emmanuel.
Ariel Emmanuel. That dude's he's gonna clean freaking house. I think Bucky Beaver was actually the beginning of that. I think they knew that this lawsuit was coming out, and they started cleaning house.
So when's Bruce going?
Bruce will be the last one. That's the honest God truth. Bruce will be the last one.
Because it's just like Ronda says, so long as he's there.
Yep.
Vince has a few
he's a proxy for Vince. Malachi said the good, literally the softest guy in the locker room. The bad, Nia Jax. Dude, I went back. I was telling Frank, I went back and rewatched parts of the Women's Rumble with Nia. Dude, she was being stiff as hell, man. And every one of her eliminations looked like she was about to kill somebody. Like she just throwing people around without being safe, man. I'm like, what the freaking hell is wrong with you, woman?
Does she know how to work any other way?
I don't think so at this point. But and then the ugly, the next few months of booking trying to recover the main events to Mania. Yeah, we're gonna get into that. That's so that's your GBU.
That's my GBU. You're
All
up,
right.
man.
My GBU, the good WWE working with TNA. There's a lot of possibility with this. I'm a big fan of a lot of the guys in TNA, in particular, like Jordan Grace. I think she's one of the best women's wrestlers. I'm glad that she was in there and they actually made her look good.
Yeah, she looked really good.
She looked really good. I actually, I told Frank, I said, dude, if Josh Alexander shows up in the men's rumble, I'm going to absolutely shit myself. But I'm looking at that and like, even if it's just like they have like a little bit of crossover between them and NXT, like the possibility that WWE will actually do some work, even if it's just a little bit here and there with another company, tells me that the Vince era is truly dead. That's a very clear and concise indication. The Vince era is dead.
I think part of that's going to be determined by where TNA gets their next TV contract from.
I do too. And honestly, I think them working with WWE is a good way to help bolster that, because they're like, hey, if they can go to a TV company, channel and say, a company and say, hey, we're doing work with WWE, that could grease the wheels a little bit more. So,
right.
I thought that was awesome. I hope it's not just. I hope it's more than just lip service and window dressing. Because the idea that they could do that would be awesome.
Hey, getting a rub from the WWE and UFC.
Yeah, and then
for
getting
your new TV contract
and getting crossover with TNA, that would be awesome.
Yeah,
that'd be badass.
It'd be like Sony and Marvel with Spider-Man. You know, but good. It'd be a good combination that could possibly work really good.
Yeah, there's a lot of possibility there. The injury bug.
Dun.
Jeez, dude, man, it just keeps coming. They get one person back. They get Sami Zayn back. Kevin Owens goes out with a friggin' fractured foot. Obviously, the big injury that happened over this weekend. Fragile Phil, CM Punk.
You can start a new promotion just with the people that are injured right now.
I'm telling you, dude, it's bad. There's a lot of injured people, man. And I know I say Fragile Phil, but I don't want, like I said, I might not be the biggest CM Punk fan, but you never want to see anybody get hurt, dude. It sucks.
No. And
especially because it doesn't just affect them, it affects everybody else.
Yeah, you got some big names out. Charlotte Flair, CM Punk.
Yep. Punk's out. Flair's out. Seth.
Yes.
Like I said, with the situation with Seth, I wish they would just have him relinquish the title and give him the time to actually heal up right and properly.
Now, if he was in AEW, he'd be an interim champion.
Oh, Jesus God. Dude, that was one of the worst decisions Tony ever made. But yeah, these injuries are bad. It's not good stuff. And like I said, you never want to see these guys injured, especially the guys that are getting older, like Punk. It takes them longer and longer to heal up. But and like I said, and it completely derailed everything. So hopefully he's not out as long as they're saying it could be anywhere between 4 and 6 months. Some people are saying that it's possible he might be able to come back a little sooner, depending on how well he rehabs. The fact that we got Sami Zayn back and KO goes out with a freaking injury, and even Sami supposedly came back early knee. So it's not good. It's not good. And it's never good. I don't care what promotion it is or who it is. So not good. And then the ugly, like you said, man, the continued fallout from Vince McMahon's sex trafficking scandal. And here's the thing. Someone actually brought up a really, really good point. And I'm just waiting for the other shoe to drop now, because the settlement that they were paying out for her was $3 million.
Yep.
There's a settlement for another person that was $7.5 million. What the hell did they do to her to get her that much?
That's where Baby McMahon came from.
That's scaring the shit out of me. Then and here's the thing, and as far as I've always been one of those guys innocent until proven guilty. Okay, I've always been that. But you don't have someone bring something like this forward without them having some kind of inculpatory evidence, especially considering the reaction that happened from it. TKO was trying to get out ahead of this thing long before this thing started.
And knowing Vince with the disgusting stuff he did on camera, like imagine what he'd be willing to do
Dude,
in private. You just can't help but think it's true.
Did you guys see that interview with Kurt Angle where he was talking about? I was like, yeah, he's like, now that angle that he made me do with Steph, where he made me make out with her. He's like, and he was sitting there watching all the time. He says, dude, that really creeps me out now.
It was probably around that time, Justin. So you want to know if it was around the time Linda was running for U.S. Senate? It might be.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think the $7.5 million was for an illegitimate child,
which is pretty goddamn bad too. But then again, like I said, we don't know.
We don't, because if he paid all of her NDA money, like he only paid one of $3 million for.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. Is like what the hell happened? Like, I don't even think he would pay that much for an illegitimate kid, dude. I think there's a lot more there. But Big Daddy said innocent until proven guilty. Not on this one. VKM is a fucking piece of shit. Happened way too many times with way too many people. Oh yeah, dude. Like I said, given the stuff that just given the stuff that we know happened in the past, where he covered up Laurinaitis basically forcing himself on women in the friggin' private jet.
Never forget Ashley Massaro, please.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like even just the stuff that we know. Vince is like, I said it before and I say it again. Is Vince the greatest wrestling promoter that's ever lived? Yes. Is Vince also one of the biggest pieces of shit that has ever existed in the wrestling community? Absolutely. And this is just him taking it to the next friggin' level of messed up.
Like, everybody's reaction, it was just, you know what, I can see it. No one is like, I can't believe this. Everyone's like, yep.
You know what it is? Like when I heard it, I was like, yeah, I can believe it. But at the same time, I'm like, but who's that fucked up? You know? It's like, dude, like, and to just be like, and the other thing too is like, and here's the thing. This is one thing I will say about this. A lot of people are pointing fingers at like, why didn't this person do something? Why didn't that person do something? Everybody had to know. If you look at what Vince did, Vince is, again, the thing about narcissist, narcissism. Well, the thing about narcissistic sociopaths, which is what he is, they're very good at obfuscating things. So Vince was everybody knew that Vince was a friggin' like a hardcore womanizer. Everybody knew that Vince liked to have his way with talent. Like had his little circle of buddies that were protecting him and that he protected. Everybody knew that. But that's what Vince let that out. He let everybody see that. And I think he did that so he could obfuscate all the other shit he was doing.
This is going to go really, so it could go one of two ways. First way is it could go to arbitration because they could rule that the NDA is still in force and it has to go to arbitration. Or two, if they dismiss the NDA, everything comes out. To court. Well, everything comes out.
Right.
And if that happens, you better believe anybody in an executive position that's still with the E is going to be.
It wasn't even just executive positions. They were talking about how like people on the film crew knew.
Anybody that's still with the E, if it comes out that everything has to be released, they're done. Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. Knowing how businesses work and knowing how the steps that they're probably going to take, I don't see this thing going to trial. They're gonna settle out of court. It depends, like you said, depending on whether or not the NDA gets dismissed, which I think the NDA will get dismissed because according to every law and every lawyer that I've seen that's talked about this, NDAs are not enforceable when it comes to sexual assault. They're not enforceable. So she's not. It doesn't make any difference what she signed or what deals she had, or the fact that she got partially paid for it. You're not. You cannot force someone to remain silent when sexual assault is part of the situation. So I can't see how the NDA doesn't get overturned. So, like I said, man, like this whole thing is just a massive pile of shit. Vince McMahon is just an awful human being. Hopefully, everybody else that gets connected. Hopefully, Laurinaitis gets caught up in this. And I think Laurinaitis is mentioned specifically in the
multiple times.
Oh, yeah.
Well, he's specifically mentioned as one of the people that they're going after. So, and that couldn't happen to a better person because that dude's a piece of shit too. He's been a piece of shit forever.
But now, when you look back at segments like him telling Lita that she has to have that like life sex celebration with Edge, or she loses her job, or making Trish bark like a dog in the ring, this is just
all of that stuff, man. Where he made them kiss his ass, or when he like shoved his face in there, and all that messed up crap, dude. I that's even when I was like young and like didn't think about stuff like that. Even then, I was like, man, that's friggin' like I don't know how you could pay me to do that. So,
well, he freaking wanted an incest storyline with his daughter.
Oh yeah, which is why that's what Kurt brought that up, and then he's just like knowing all this stuff and everything. He's like, I just thought Vince was like trying to be edgy and shit. He's like, but now it's like, god damn, man, it like completely changes the complexion of everything. But I'm not gonna, like I said, I don't want to dwell on this too long because one, it's depressing as hell, and two, I haven't done nearly enough research to really know everything about it.
I tried to read the whole thing. I couldn't get through it.
There's a lot of legalese in it, man. There's a lot of legalese in it.
He's Big Daddy's been doing that since the 80s with Charles Chatterton.
Yeah,
Big Daddy knows personally. That's 40 years ago. 40 years ago.
Oh yeah, dude. Well, like you knew he's a freaking millionaire who, and at the time
billionaire.
And then he became a billionaire. But we all knew that he was messed up. I don't think any of us realized just how messed up he was, or maybe we just didn't want to believe it. At any rate,
that was your GBU.
That was my GBU. Johnny, you got anything you want to add?
We touched on everything that should have been. Now we can talk about what happened in those matches. Let's put in those pellets here.
Okay. So the Royal Rumble, obviously, no titles changed hands, which we fully expected that. That's why I don't want to talk about it anymore, dude. It's awful. But I apologize, but we had to at least touch on it, man.
Bob brings out the best in people.
Oh God. But yeah, so Roman retained, obviously. It was a largely, I mean, you had three of the best workers in the business in that match. It was but even then it was still a typical paint by numbers Roman match. It was boring in the end,
I can see that happening at Hicks Hillen.
Yeah. Oh, dude, they're gonna try. They're gonna at least try. But
how's that documentary Netflix was making up now?
Was that?
Yeah.
Oh, dude. No, they killed that. The TKO killed that.
Yeah. Well, I wonder why.
I wonder why. Gee, I wonder why. But like I said, it was a typical paint by numbers match for Roman at this point. Had some good work in it from the other guy, from him, and Roman too. But it was just, like I said, it was typical paint by numbers. Roman, like they were all working with each other. Roman largely stayed out of it at points, and then he would beat up this guy, and then it stopped, and then he would beat up that guy, and then it would stop, and then he would beat up this guy, and it stopped. And then he had the interference, and then I was actually shocked that AJ ate the pin. I think that's the wrong call, but what are you gonna do?
It was either him or LA Knight. It wasn't going to be Randy.
Yeah, it wasn't going to be Randy. I would have had it be LA Knight, honestly, because like I said, AJ I think is one of the best people they got. But there you go. The Logan Paul Kevin Owens match was pretty good.
Till the end.
Which again, You're telling me all these people are just standing there with this one dude? Just the guy weighs like a $105. The guy that was interfering. One of the refs could have freaking pushed that dude out. Why is everybody got to be over there? And then everybody comes running in. It was dumb. It was dumb. And then suddenly, all of a sudden, the refs have eyes. And it's like, oh, wait a minute. You've got brass knuckles on your hand. I'm like, duh. I mean, all this other stuff. It's like I love, like, Kevin Owens actually cut a promo on the SmackDown before the Rumble, and when Grayson Waller and Austin Theory were talking about shit, I can't remember who they were talking about, and Kevin goes, "Am I the only one who knows how things work around here?" he's like stating the obvious. I was like, oh god, but it was the in reaction was largely pretty good. So,
and you had to have outside interference involved in both matches.
Yeah, that's the other thing too, man. It's like, look,
can't just get a clean pin for either one of them.
Well, what you had four guys. You got four guys in one of those matches.
Yeah, you got four guys with each other. Just have Roman be an opportunist and steal a win from somebody. You know, do that. At this point, I'm just tired of it. It's all tiresome. Women's Rumble, like I said, the first half was absolutely awful.
You had Naomi in the first half.
Yeah, one person does not a good Rumble make, dude. And to be honest, most of the people in the Rumble are competent wrestlers. It's just the spots that they tried to do. A lot of them they just botched them and they missed them. They tried to do spots like strength spots, and almost all of them failed. Another thing too that somebody pointed out is like the crowd was largely dead for most of the freaking Women's Rumble because their entrance music is dog shit. So many of them, it's derivative entrance music. A lot of it sounds the same. There's no style to it. There's no oomph to it. A lot like you times to see, and they're absolutely right. A lot of the times, the entrance music for some of these like the NXT, especially the NXT call ups, their music hit and the crowd just went, what? They're just sitting there. There's like, oh, okay. And the other thing too is like, I don't know who is in charge of doing the women's makeup.
Yeah,
whoever's doing that friggin' eye makeup needs to be fired yesterday. It's awful. It makes them look terrible. Becky looked like a friggin' corpse. Dude, she looked like a reanimated, she looked like a zombie. It was awful, dude. I don't know. Like, how are they? Like, I remember Ronda was the one who started that shit, and she looked terrible. She looked like a Masters of the Universe villain. Yeah. And then they
Shayna Baszler.
She started doing it with Shayna. Now they're doing it with Xia Li. Now they're doing it with Becky. It's god awful. It's so ugly. It makes them all look ugly.
What cosplay was Zelina Vega doing?
Shit, I don't know, dude. Some kind of I think it was like something from like Overwatch or some shit. But I mean, I'm sure there's a couple of them that were doing that. But it was just the Women's Rumble outside of Jordan Grace showing up, Trinity coming back, which I thought was cool. Jade making her debut, which was all right, which was pretty good. And Chelsea Green just being the most entertaining goddamn thing in the entire world with her facial expressions by getting absolutely murked.
Yeah, I'm not sorry, not Zelina Vega, Zelina Banks.
Zelina Banks. Oh yeah, that was that's something that we noticed that like a lot of like Zelina Vega, they're like repackaging her to be like Sasha Banks 2.0. But they did at least get the final four was pretty good. They did at least get the right winner for the Rumble, for the Women's Rumble. Men's Rumble was decent. Started off decent with Jimmy versus Jay. I was really hoping that we were going to get the beginning of the fracturing of the bloodline at some point in the match. Like Jimmy and Jay were going to come together at least on some level and like help each other like against some of the other people. Some of the other entries didn't get that.
What would have been perfect is if you had Solo Sikoa out there and he eliminates Jimmy.
Yeah, or something like that.
or Jimmy eliminates Solo at some point, and that sets up some kind of friction between the two.
Yeah, or do something like that, or like someone's about to eliminate Jimmy, and Jay comes over and stops him, and then the two of them team up and take the guy out, and then they just kind of look at each other and they're like, okay, and then they just go back to just do something to push this storyline along, because it's been stagnant for months.
And please, let's get rid of Almost.
Oh, Jesus Christ, God, man, dude, I was so happy when they got rid of him. We did get we did call some of the spots we said were going to happen. We did get the Haas. We got the Haas moment between Bronson Reed and Otis.
No, I thought it was the dude from.
It was Ivar.
Viking Raiders.
Yeah, it was Ivar from the Viking Raiders. We did get that. Best surprise was probably Braun Breaker coming in to take over Brock's spot.
Worst surprise was Pat McAfee.
Jesus Christ, dude, that was so stupid. You're telling me that another friggin' wrestler, another star, couldn't have used that moment? Seriously? You're telling me that somebody like dude, one of the freaking
Cameron Grimes, somebody.
Yeah, anybody, freaking Tommaso Ciampa, Johnny Gargano, somebody. Anybody could have used that friggin' spot. But no, we're gonna waste it on Pat McAfee. It's like, whatever, dude. Dragon Lee. You could have had Dragon Lee come out in that spot. That would have been badass. That was awful. Omos was pointless. We got down to the final four. I was wrong about one of the final four. The final four was Cody, Punk, Drew, and Gunther, right?
Yes.
Okay. And I thought, who did I say was going to come down to the final four? Because I got one of those wrong.
Did you have Sammy, or who'd you have?
No, I had somebody. You had it right. I missed one of them. But anyway, we were largely right about that. I was 100% convinced that Punk and Cody were going to eliminate each other, and it was going to be Gunther that was going to win, and we were going to get Punk versus Cody at WrestleMania. I was 100% convinced of that. I have never been happier to be wrong. They 100% made the right call. I like the fact that they kind of hinted a little bit at possible heel Phil showing back up, because I think
not for a while.
I think Punk is better as a heel. Well, I think after he got hurt, they were like, "Nah, man, we're not going to friggin' lean into that shit."
Speaking of going full heel, Drew just threw the twinner thing out the window.
Drew just took friggin' Punk's throat, man. Drew just came out and just absolutely revealed that he was like, "It was me all along."
And you might not see that match at all, because by the time Punk comes back, Drew could be gone.
Yep. Yeah. I have a hard time believing they're going to let him walk, especially after all the injuries and everything. But it's possible. They're slowballing him. They're slow playing and lowballing him, and he's not happy about that. So, but we'll see. So that was the Rumble. All right, let's talk about where they go from here. Obviously, they're hinting, they're trying to do something where, if you guys watched on Raw, Seth was telling Cody that he should go for his belt because his belt is more relevant. That and he made some good points.
He did.
He's like, I've put the work in. I made this belt relevant, which he has. This is the working man's belt. This is Dusty's belt. I liked it. It was a great promo, by the way.
Yeah,
really good promo. I disagree, however, and if WWE does make him go for Seth's belt instead of Roman's belt, they're basically killing both storylines.
Right.
because
Cody can make the Universal title a working man's belt.
Yeah, well, and not only that, but a big part of this is he wants to win the belt that his dad didn't, that his dad should have but didn't.
Yep.
And if you trace the pedigree of the undisputed Universal Heavyweight Championship belt all the way back through the years, that is the original WWF World Heavyweight Championship.
Yes.
Okay. Now they obviously they recombined, they combined the SmackDown and Universal titles together.
Yeah.
The Raw and SmackDown titles together. But even though they did that, and then they created the new world title for Seth, even after doing that, you still trace the pedigree back. It's still that belt. It is still the belt that Hogan held. It's still the belt that Bret Hart held. It's still the belt that Shawn Michaels, Austin,
Hulk
Rock,
Hogan, Bruno Sammartino.
Yeah, you trace it back. It's the original belt. The pedigree of that belt is the original title. And Cody has to win that belt. It has to be, and it has to be Cody. It has to be Cody that takes it off of Roman. So I personally feel if they do not do this, they are going to they're hamstringing both. But like you said, they may as well keep that belt on Roman forever. So Seth's belt, well, it's the silver medal. It's and here's the thing. Yeah, is it the secondary title in the company? Yes.
Yes.
It is 100% the secondary title in the company. But if you're really honest about it, the Raw title was the secondary title in the company. Back when it was the Raw and the SmackDown titles. When the SmackDown was the Universal Championship and Raw was the Raw World Heavyweight Championship. It was the secondary title then. And even though it's a new belt, the new belt is the secondary title to Roman's belt. And always has been.
I wanted to see if Cody wins, get a redesign for the belt, please.
Dude, if they had any sense when he
Windigo.
wins, yep. And when he wins, he's like, this is the belt that my dad should have held, and change it to everything that's old is new. Bring back the Winged Eagle. It's the best. It's the most beautiful heavyweight championship that has ever existed, in my personal opinion. It's the greatest belt of all time. All right. I know some people say the 10 pounds of gold. It's a beautiful belt too.
Winged Eagle.
The big gold belt. I mean, the big gold belt that Flair had. I know a lot of people love that one. I like that belt too. The Winged Eagle was the best looking heavyweight championship belt of all time. So they need to bring that, and if it was me, they'd bring that back. But in my personal opinion, it's got to be Cody and Roman, and Cody has to win. What do you guys think?
Count me in with that, please. Yep. I said,
not sure you're
go ahead.
Not sure you're gonna get it, but
I'm not either. But especially after what happened, because I think they're testing the waters, but I think it's a bad idea.
That's what I said at the beginning of the program today. If he doesn't take it, then keep it on Roman until he breaks Sammartino.
Yep. Keep it on him for the next 5 years. Because at that point, it's pointless.
If they're set on having the match with Rock, then I'm sorry, Cody, you're going after Seth. Because if it was Punk and Seth, it would be something different. But this way, it doesn't work. It just doesn't work.
Yeah.
You talked about the Universal. Now, for the secondary title, you need to either take it off of Seth, vacate it, or somehow Damian Priest cashes in Money in the Bank and takes it off of him.
Initially, when Seth first came out and said that he wasn't going to leave and he was going to stay, I would have had Priest come out and cash it in right then and there. At this point, I think if they do have Priest cash it in, I don't know that it still works. I still think that, in my personal opinion, either have Priest cash in his money. And here's the thing: he's only got until Is it WrestleMania?
No, it's July. July is when he won.
Oh, okay, I was going to say
Money in the Bank.
He doesn't have a whole lot of time left. I thought.
No,
but here's the thing, and this is another thing: when he cashes in that belt, it has to be a successful cash in. It has to be a successful cash in. Priest has to take one of those belts. I don't think he's going to take it off Cody, I think he has to come in. He has to take one of those belts. It has to be successful, which is why I said that's the best case scenario. But if you're not going to do that, then you got to have Seth vacate that belt.
Yep.
You can't have this dude running around with a grade 2 MCL tear. And what was the other? It was a plantar facial issue as well, or he's got multiple injuries.
He was the meniscus, the MCL.
His meniscus, dude. One wrong move, he takes one bump wrong, whatnot. He's on the shelf for the next 8 to 9 months.
Yep.
This is stupid. Okay?
I'll be honest with you guys. It's been so long. I forgot the Money in the Bank was a thing.
It's because he's held on to it forever. And I know it's also because the last couple Money in the Bank winners has been absolute dog shit. Is he WrestleMania event ready? I think he can be. I think he's got all the qualities you need. One thing that absolutely has to happen is you got to break him away from Judgment Day.
And also answer that too is he doesn't have to be main event ready. You can have Seth against somebody like Gunther or somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
Priest comes in at the end and cashes in.
Yeah, he can do that.
It could be a short main event, but Seth's injuries and they limit the moves in the match, and it's a 7-minute match. Priest comes out, cashes it in, and he's the new champion.
You could do that. I think that's the least of that. That's the worst of the options that they have available. Me personally, I would just have him vacate the belt, and have you take the number like Drew versus you take number 1 versus number 2, and have Drew versus Gunther. One of them wins it. I'd have it be Gunther, and then you go forward from there. And you know what I mean? That's what I would do. You could even have that be the match at WrestleMania where it's Drew versus Gunther, and the winner gets the World Heavyweight Championship. So, but it can't be Seth. Okay, you got to protect. I swear to God, you've got to protect these guys from themselves sometimes. This is an injury. Like I said, he takes a bump the wrong way. He goes over something gets hit. He's on the shelf for the next like 8, like I think what is it, like 7 to 9 months for an MCL tear.
He takes the wrong injury at WrestleMania. He's out till next year's Royal Rumble.
Yeah, which is terrible idea.
Messing up your knee can be your end. Period.
Yeah.
So.
But that's like I said, if you're not gonna do that, like I said, there are other guys you can elevate into that position. Like I said, you could put Braun Breaker. I don't know if he's world title ready, but you can bring him in and do some stuff with him.
Well, and you can find out at Elimination Chamber next month, because that could be, Cody could come out and say he's wrestling Roman Reigns, and then the Elimination Chamber, like they've done in the past, is whoever wins that goes up against Seth's title.
Yeah, and absolutely, and you could do something like that.
He's already said that's what's going to happen with the women. Whoever wins the women's Elimination Chamber is going to go up against Rhea Ripley.
Yeah. Which brings us to the women. We know that Rhea's Bayley's not going to challenge Rhea. The storyline is that she's going to end up challenging Io. I personally do not like. I do not like the way that they're handling this. The whole thing where she's afraid of Nia and she's going to do this, because just have her, be like, I want to challenge the best. I want to challenge, and I want to make sure that when, basically do a better storyline than this. I would have the Asian members of Judgment Day. I mean, of Damage Control. Get in her face and tell her you are challenging Rhea whether you want to or not. That's what I would do. That's how I would handle it. It'd be like, wait a minute, what are you talking about? Just like, you need you're gonna do this, and like they said, they laid the ground. They were like, where she was like, I thought we had a plan, and during the Rumble, she's like, wait a minute, what happened? I thought we had a plan, And they're going to just like, wait a minute. So I fight my way through all this. You guys get eliminated early. The plan completely disintegrates. And now you're going to tell me what I'm going to do. I'm the leader of this friggin' group. And that's when they beat her down and you set up the her versus Io.
Yeah. Asuka missed in her face.
The whole thing with Rhea with Nia versus Rhea Ripley. Whatever, man.
I don't want Rhea to get hurt though.
I would have had I would set up something between her and Jade Cargill, to be honest.
I think they're going Jade Cargill versus Bianca.
That's what I think so too. I think it's I think they kind of teased that with the whole thing with them, like the whole pose down and everything between them. Big Daddy said, in my opinion, no matter the lineage of the title, the Rollins, the real WWE champion is Reigns, and that's who Cody should beat. That's the real championship.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree. Like I said, though, even after the work that Seth put in, man, it's still the secondary title. We all know we all know what the original belt is. We all know what's going on there. That's the storyline. That's the way it has to go down.
That's the way it should go down.
Yeah. So if Gunther is not in the world title match against Seth or anything like that, what do we do with the IC title, man? Because what more can he do with that IC title? He's done everything he could with it. The guy needs to be elevated to the next level. And you're not going to do that if you don't put him in that storyline with, especially now that Punk is out. You've got to elevate him. Right? He's not
gonna do a job. So the only way will be for him to win the heavyweight title and just vacate the IC one.
And if you want to protect, if you want to protect Seth, have Gunther come in and kill him. He's injured.
Yep. Yeah, and have Gunther win. Have Damian Priest come out and fail at cashing in his Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
Keep Gunther the champion.
Yeah. If you're not gonna have Damian cash in and take the belt off Seth, then all you can do, because you can't have Gunther win and then have him come in and take it. Because then you're destroying all the work that Seth put into that belt. You have to put it on Gunther, and you have to let him do the same thing with that belt that he did with the IC title, which is kill everybody.
So, and if you're not going to do that, have Seth vacate his title, get healthy, then do something similar to WrestleMania 4. Don't use the entire WrestleMania, but build up to it with a tournament that leads to the finals at WrestleMania for the title. Gunther versus whoever you want to be as the and that person wins the
world heavyweight
world champion.
Yeah, you crown your world champion at WrestleMania.
Yeah,
I could definitely see that.
And I would like to see somebody like Andrade win the IC title.
Yeah. See, that's what I would like to see. Yeah. And have Andrade win the IC belt. Because I think that elevates him. Let him defend it and do really well and book him well, like you did with Gunther. Really book Andrade strong. But you've got to move Gunther. At this point, he's done everything he can with that IC belt. He needs to be elevated to the world title scene. He needs to be elevated to the main event scene. And this is and like you said, this is the perfect opportunity to do it. They're not. Are they going to do that? No. They're banking and hoping to God that Seth is going to be healed up enough that he can go. Yeah. Which I think is a terrible idea. But that's what they're going to do. Now, as far as that's what I think they're going to do. Like we already talked about what they're going to do with the women's matches, which I
would not be opposed to having Rhea Ripley versus Naomi for the title.
I wouldn't either. Honestly, dude,
build up Naomi.
Anybody but Nia.
Yeah, Naomi, and maybe have Jimmy interfere on her behalf to win.
Do a bloodline
Rhea
thing.
Ripley. Yeah,
I guess you could do that. I think the whole idea that she's stayed out of the bloodline stuff. I think they want to keep doing that.
Well, she has because she was in TNA.
Well, even before that, even before she left, she was like she stayed out of the bloodline stuff.
Well, they didn't need her at that time.
Well, I mean, they don't really need her now because especially if they're going to start disintegrating the bloodline. Now what they could do is that
unless she's the reason her husband leaves.
As I say,
they could have Jimmy turn face at
Yep.
And he comes out and helps her beat Rhea Ripley.
Something like that. World tag belts. First off, they got to get new belts.
Yeah.
Belts look like shit. We've said that ever since they showed those freaking penny and dime looking freaking things. What do you do to get the tag scene back on track, man? Because you've got the Creed brothers who are a good tag team. You've got Pretty Deadly. They're goofy as shit, but they're a decent tag team. You got Jimmy and Jay are no longer a tag team. You got New Day still. Who else? And you got Alpha Academy. Who else is there?
Nobody really.
They need some new blood. They need some new blood bad.
Would you put Andrade with Dragon Lee?
That could work. I'm trying to think what you could do, man. Andrade with Dragon Lee could work, especially if you're going to bring Dragon Lee up to the main roster. I'm trying to think of anybody that they could put together as a tag team. DIY, they have absolutely shit the bed with those guys.
Yeah, put them in a title match.
They need to do something because they've completely crapped the bed with Ciampa and Gargano, especially on the main roster. I don't know who else they've got. I mean, Street Profits.
Yeah,
they've been kind of sitting on their hands with them too.
You got Waller and Theory.
Ugh.
Yeah. I'm just doing out there. I'm not happy with what I said.
Dude, you talk about a dude that they had a chance with, and then they completely crapped the bed with him. I don't know that I ever want to see that dude again. Let me pull up the roster here, man. It's been so long. I don't even know if they've got any real tag teams outside of the ones we talked about.
You got Imperium.
Dude, I would actually put Imperium is not a bad.
There you go. Hicks Villain's got it right there.
Awesome Truth. Oh, jeez. You know what, though? Honestly, compared to where the belts are right now, I'd even go with that.
Yeah, see, even Maldacito agrees.
I mean, right now, like Judgment Day is just they are long past time for them to break up or to get rid of Damian Priest. Honestly, the Creed brothers, man, I think the Creed brothers are awesome. Those guys would be really good to put that shit on.
What do you think, Amber McMahon?
I think you guys keep talking about shit the bed and just my wheelhouse. So
hey, you also have who came out at Royal Rumble.
Oh, AOP?
AOP.
Yeah, you know what? They got to do something with AOP this time. Cause and you know what? And we called it, man, dude. We said that AOP that Cross was going to be in the Rumble. He wasn't going to do shit. AOP were going to come out and do something, and it wasn't going to matter. You talk about a faction that they've already taken that thing out in the backyard and yellered it. At this point, it's pointless.
It's the same thing with Jinder Mahal's tag team. What were they?
Oh, Indashir?
Yeah.
Oh, geez. Dude, the thing is, as we're talking about this, we're talking more. We're naming more and more teams. Why don't they do anything with any of these people? I swear to God, man, Vince isn't there anymore. What'd you say?
Because they're tag teams. It's WWE.
Yeah, but Vince isn't there anymore. Vince is the one that hated tag team wrestling.
Oh, we forgot one. Because one of
What?
them was in the Royal Rumble.
Oh God.
The Viking Raiders.
Yeah, but one of them's hurt though. One of them's always hurt.
Put Valhalla in their place.
Oh my God. But I'm like, dude, you've got tag teams that you could put into programs. You've got to put some more work into tag team wrestling. Okay, for God's sake, man. And the other thing too, for the love of God and all that's holy, either get rid of these, either bring a new belts or bring back. You know what? I would bring back all of the 1980, 1990 championship belts. Bring back the Wing Eagle. Bring back the original tag team belts, the squared off ones that were still, in my opinion, the best looking ones that they've ever had. Just for the love of God, man, I love tag team wrestling. You've got some legitimately good tag teams, in at least some that can do some work. For all that's holy, put some friggin' time into your tag team division, man. It sucks balls right now.
Yeah, and I don't know who you have challenge the Kabuki Warriors for their titles.
There's nobody. That's the other thing too. In NXT, you should be building up some women's tag teams, some real legitimate women's tag teams, so that when you bring them up to the main roster, you've actually got a reason to have those belts. A reason for them to freaking exist. Because right now, there is no reason for them to exist.
Oh, speaking of NXT, were you happy you had William Regal last week?
Yeah, and he named friggin' The Rock's daughter as the new general manager. I was like, what the hell is this dog shit?
Excuse me?
They named The Rock's daughter
Ava Raine.
Yep. She's the general manager of NXT.
As the new general manager of NXT, which
What
tells me she sucks balls in the ring, and they're just trying to find a place to put her.
Yep. They're trying to appease a new member on the board of directors.
Yeah, a new member on the board of directors. Big Day said, after the show, come on over to JD New York and off the script. It's going to be lit. Yep, guys, go check it out. JD's always entertaining. He's got some interesting stuff to say. And we're about done here, man. Like as far as I'm concerned, when it comes to WrestleMania, like heading forward out of there, you've got to start the disintegration of the
Judgment Day and
of the Bloodline and Judgment Day, because they're both starting to get long in it too. Especially Bloodline. Cody has to challenge Roman. He has to win. Take the belt off of Seth for his own friggin' good. And like you said, make like a mini tournament between like 4 or 6 guys on day 1 and day 2 of WrestleMania, and crown yourself a new world champion, Gunther. Yes. Do something to elevate your tag team division, because it stinks like unwashed nutsack right now. And do something better with the storyline between Bayley and Damage Control, because what you're doing now is stupid. But outside of that, guys, like, you guys want anything to add that you think they need to do at WrestleMania or going forward, or?
I got something to add, not about WrestleMania though.
Go ahead.
Okay, go for it.
If they do have Sting and Darby win the tag titles, just for the Buckaroos to take them at Revolution, I'm closing the book on Dynamite forever.
I can't see them doing that, because if it's Sting's last match, what is the point? You're gonna have him win and then lose? Kind of dumb.
They're challenging for the belts.
Okay, but then it can't be his last match at Revolution then.
Unless they lose, and that's what I'm already mad at, and it hasn't even happened.
Yeah, Sting and Darby win the titles in their match, then in a month and a half they lose them to.
Oh no! Here, well, if Sting and Darby challenge for the world heavyweight, for the world tag team belts,
the match is set. They are going to challenge for them.
Okay, and then win them, and then lose them at Revolution. That would be stupid too, because Revolution is Sting's last match.
Yeah, exactly.
Why are you gonna have him? Why are you gonna have him lose it? Now I could see them winning the belts and then freaking drop it, and then Sting being like, you know what, we got to drop, and then you have a tag team tournament. they've already copied the G1 with the C2. Why don't you just copy World Tag League, and then you got yourself a new tournament there. Do that. So, but anyway, Big Days. I said, thanks, Council. Another banger of an episode, banger after banger after banger. We're working on it, man. Like I said, expect more content coming over the course of the year, guys. We're gonna work. We're gonna start putting some work into this channel and trying to get it up there. We want to be at 1,000 subscribers before the end of the year.
Yes.
Right now, we just got a lot of things going on right now, but once we get a little bit more time and a little bit more energy, we're going to put that into that. Appreciate everybody that was here. Big Daddy, Hicks Villain, Miss Saren, Maldacito, Justin, thanks for stopping in, brother. Appreciate it. Always welcome to come on and, Leg Kick. Everybody else that was kind of lurking and whatnot. Johnny, always welcome as well, man. And
no problem.
We appreciate you guys, and we will be back next week. We will also be, obviously, because it's Sting and it's his last match, we'll probably be doing live reactions to Revolution. So keep an eye at that. We're working on getting the band back together, Boogie and Antonio, and everyone else. Maybe we can get Yule. Who knows?
Who knows?
But look out for that, guys, and we will see you guys next week. Appreciate you guys. Have a good one. Bye.